Rise and shine, beloved, great grand rising, grand afternoon, grand evening, wherever you're tuning in from. This is Ilona Sanders. Welcome to another episode of Spiritual Success TV Live, where we're lighting the way to help you create a clear path forward on your personal and spiritual developmental journey. I am dedicated to delivering personal and spiritual empowerment that will be a catalyst that will ignite true transformation in your life. With that being said, let's do what we do in this community. Let me go ahead and put a grand rising in the comments. Come on in, take this moment, go tag friends, tag family members, let them know that Spiritual Success TV is live. They will need this too. All right. So let me put a great grand rising. All right. Let's go. All right. I want us to be very interactive today. Let's do what we do in this community. Let's activate what I call the success mind. We're going to get grounded, open up our hearts, open up our spirits so that we can be free and be a channel to receive all that needs to come in. Healing deep breath in and exhale. Relax. Just relax, beloved. Come all the way present. Come on, right here to this sacred moment. Be present right here. Relax. Breath in through the nostrils. Out through the mouth fully and completely. Purposely turn that focus inward. Drop that gaze down. Tap into the rich inner life. And we're so thankful and grateful today. There's no place else we would rather be than tapping into the secret place of the Most High. Abiding under the shadow of the Almighty. We have access. We tap in. One more for the power of 3. Open up those hands in receive mode. Breathe in. Exhale. All is well. All is well, beloved. All is well. As we say in our community right now in this sacred moment, nothing's missing. Nothing's broken. No place to be. Nothing that needs to be done. I surrender all. I let go. I let God. I'm now open. I am now open to receiving all the good I desire and deserve. And it is so, it is so, it is so. All right, beloved, this is the time of year where I usually wind down and start giving a closing word. I'm going to look to do that starting this week. And so for today, I want us to continue the thread. We're going to keep pulling on that thread that we've been pulling on for weeks now. And so the last couple of weeks, we talked about how positioning is everything. And we talked about getting in position. And then last week, we talked about be determined. So I want to take a moment right now and I want to activate you so that you can come in. I know that here, this time of the year, especially in the Northern Hemisphere and so many places around the world, will get up for holiday and festivities. And we don't want to discount that. But at the same time, I want you to anchor yourself. I'm doing this for myself today as well. I want you to anchor yourself in the decision and the determination that you're going in the direction you desire to go, that it's not too late. It's not too late. You will see, as sacred text says, you will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. On this side, we activate heaven. On this side, we activate the greatest joy that's in our lives that we've ever seen, the greatest joy, all right? So I want to talk about living in divine alignment, or how to activate divine alignment so that you begin to live your best life, all right? So last week when we talked about being determined and getting in position, we began to share that, now it's all about you, and we encourage you to choose yourself. But today, we want to get activated. Once you have made a decision, hey, lovely. Great day to you, Shamika. I love you, right? Once you make a decision and you get yourself in position, I want you to be so determined. We talked about that last week, just determined. And we taught you how to reinforce this, right? Be determined that you're going to choose you. You're going to show up for you. You're going to say yes to you. You're going to mentor you. You're going to coach you, right? And you do that by making good decisions to get support. So today, I want you to activate divine alignment, coming into divine alignment and agreement. And let me just share with you what divine alignment really represents for you and why it's so powerful. Each of us have been blessed to come into this experience, this 3D physical experience, unique. We were blessed to come in with unique giftings, talents, abilities. Beloved, there's no one like you anywhere else in this whole entire world, the universe. No one else like you. That's how unique you are. Can you take a moment and talk back to me in the comments so we could be very active today? Grand Rising, thanks for joining us live. I want you to take a moment to really appreciate you, all of you, because there's nothing that is wrong with you, right? But we want to look at everything that is right about you. So coming here, being uniquely designed, sacred text talks about being fearfully and wonderfully made. I call it being uniquely designed, where there's no one else like you. I want you to start embracing that and celebrating that, being happy about that you, the family you chose to be born into. And I know that's a different concept, but we are not powerless over here, and we're not victims. So we operate from the mindset that in the Great Council, before we incarnated, we came into agreement, into sacred contract about how we would show up here. And so this is how you stay empowered, beloved, knowing that you may not remember this because you were in another dimension, but we chose to come through the bloodline we came through, to have the experiences that we're having, because you knew that you had the key and that you had the ability to work through it, overcome it, and then impact the world. So we take this moment to celebrate all of who we are, the bloodline that you've come through, every experience, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, traumatic, dramatic, it doesn't matter. We celebrate all of that as the path of life and the journey of life, because everything teaches a lesson. Earth is the great school. If you want to know what Earth is, this is a great school. It's a great training ground, and everybody wants to come here because we are remembering how to evolve into our greatest self. So when we talk about activating divine alignment, you want to come into divine alignment, agreement, and cooperation with all that you have predestined and set in motion for you. That's why you have that dream. That's why you have that desire. At some point, beloved, all of us grow up, and we're all in this great awakening right now. The whole earth is in a great awakening. You're waking up to your true desire, meaning this is that now when you start waking up, you start disconnecting from social norms. You start disconnecting from what everyone else expects from you, and you start tapping in to hear the desire of your heart, and then you get the boldness and the courage to follow that. So 3 P's I want to leave with you today, right? To activate divine alignment, watch this. You're coming into alignment, agreement, and cooperation. You could say with God, the Holy Spirit, your higher self, the universe, whatever language works for you, beloved. You want to come in divine alignment with that thing that your heart keeps pushing you toward, right? Because what you're seeking, what you desire is seeking you. It's desiring you. I believe, and I want you to believe as well, that everything in heaven and earth, in the unseen realm, in the 12 dimensions, the angelic order, everything, every organism, every energy is rooting for you, wanting nothing but the best for you. So that's why we release that faulty belief that nothing works out for me. I keep hitting a dead end. I'm just under some kind of curse. Lie. We're not even acknowledging that, right? Not that in a way that we believe that every day, but we choose to believe that everything on every dimension and every plane is working for my good, is moving me into the direction that's going to be best for me. So when we talk about the 3 P's of getting in divine alignment, coming into agreement with what your heart wants, what your soul is longing for, what is your divine purpose for being here, we want to come into alignment with that. Not what the preacher or the bishop said, not what the teacher or the professor said, not even what your parents said, but what your heart said. That agreement, that sacred contract you made with your higher self, your soul, your spirit before you came here. It wants to play out. It wants to fulfill its role. So the first P that you want to activate and start embracing and embodying is power. What do you mean, Dr. E, by power? We're talking about what I call the rich inner life, the kingdom of God that is within you, the heaven that is within you, in the kingdom within, in the rich inner life, there's infinite possibility, infinite power. Everything that you need to know, every resource you desire, every answer to every question, solution to every challenge, if we just learn how to tap in to the rich inner life. That's why the writer of Luke Gospel recorded, Jesus the Christ is saying, when they say to you, the kingdom is here, the kingdom is there, run there, run there. He said, no, beloved, it's in you. It's all around you. It's in that beautiful, unseen dimension, unseen to the physical, natural eye, but very visible to the spiritual eye, the inner eye, high 4D divine imagination, right? So why do you think that in 3D, that's the physical realm of appearance, it's all the systems that's operating in this world? It is set up to keep us so busy, so distracted, in survival mode, working and paying bills, going out to eat, watching a good show, and we're stuck in that. But beloved, there's more than that cycle. There's more that your life wants for you than that cycle, and it's never too late to break through. So the first P is power, and I want you to put next to that inner life, the rich inner life. It is the kingdom within, right? When you start allowing the inner life to be more real or to become more realistic than what you see in your outer realm of appearance, that's how you tap into creativity. That's how you tap into creativity. And that's where the real power is. When you start tapping into your creative power, divine imagination, your visions, your dreams, your insight, when you tap into that for yourself, that's real power. How do you know when you start hitting power? Because you start believing for yourself. You believe what's good for you, even if it goes against what everyone else in your circle believes or think or see or know. right? This is when you know you're tapped into power, when you don't have to share everything with everyone, when you can see a vision, get an idea, get inspiration, and that word means God breathed. When you can get inspiration and then quietly start moving in that direction, that's how you can tell you start tapping into real power, right? The second P that we want to lay down is principles. So we're talking about power, which is the inner life. Everything is within. Now we want to talk about principles, which are spiritual laws. There is a principle that governs every promise. There is a principle that's guiding every outcome. And we call them spiritual law, universal laws, right? The old Hermeticists broke them down. There's so many of them, but there's about 7 or 8 core spiritual laws that we look to, like the law of sowing and reaping, the law of cause and effect, right? The Hermeticists will call it cause and effect. In Christian religious circles, they call it sowing and reaping. Great Grand Rising, Reese, thanks for joining us live. Oh, you're good, right? So point number 2 is principle, spiritual law, cause and effect, sowing and reaping, the law of correspondence, the law of vibration, the law of rhythm, the law of gender, right? When you understand and know how to operate in spiritual law and let these spiritual laws begin to guide your life as a principle. Great Grand Rising, Lisa, thanks for joining us live, right? I need y'all talking back. We need to be very interactive today. When you start tapping in to spiritual law and understanding how they operate, thanks for the thumbs up. Everybody that can, give me that thumbs up. We need that for the algorithm, right? When you start tapping into spiritual law, you start becoming more divinely conscious. Your consciousness start rising up. So those of you that just went through RYMS, the reset sessions that we did for the last 9 weeks, we started really laying down principles, laying down spiritual laws so that your consciousness can be erased. I want you to write this down. You cannot manifest or create beyond your conscious awareness. In other words, like you would hear old success gurus say things like, whatever the mind can conceive, you can achieve. What is imprinted in the mind must be expressed in reality. These are divine spiritual laws, beloved. And when you know how to operate with spiritual law, then the laws become the guiding principle in your life rather than the events unfolding in 3D. Rather than the circumstance, right, that you may find yourself operating through, not under, but operating through. Spiritual laws, when you allow them to become a guiding principle in your life, you become more confident and you have more faith and more certainty in your outcome because you understand it's a law. And the law cannot be fooled. It cannot be broken. You remember the old commercial back in the 80s, I believe it was, you can't fool Mother Nature. Everything works on a rhythm and a cycle from a higher dimension. And that's how God created everything. He put systems, principles, laws in place. When you learn how to allow spiritual laws, principles to govern your life, all the promises will begin to come into alignment. So what are we talking about today? Activating divine alignment, agreement, cooperation with your soul, with your heart. That part of you that is alive from a higher dimension, your spirit, your God self, I called it. coming into agreement with that. And then when you operate with power and you start realizing the inner life is where the power is, where the unlimited power is, you start operating and moving differently. When you start operating based on spiritual law, then you start waking up in consciousness and you start seeing that where you placed yourself, what you've accepted all of your life, how you've lived most of your life is no longer acceptable. I want to take a moment right here. I want you to take a good healing deep breath in and exhale. And we're going to release a prayer formation for everyone that is 40 years old and above, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. It doesn't matter. Your spirit is timeless. Your outer appearance, your body may change, your outer environment may change, but your spirit is timeless and endless. And you want to tap into that realization of that power. At 2 years old, you had a certain body. At 10 years old, you had a certain body, right? At 20, you had a certain body. At 40, you have a certain body. At 60, but your spirit has been consistent throughout all these changes. And that's what we want you tapped into. We want you tapped into your spirit. And the third P is purpose. And purpose is not what you think it is, right? Purpose is the activation, write this down, of your divine life. It's the activation of your divine essence. So really, when you are operating out of your core self, your spirit, your God self, you're in purpose. Many times we just want to look at purpose as one big thing. But purpose really is made up of many little things that we do every single day. Because we're in purpose, we're doing it on purpose, with clarity of focus and divine intention. So this is what I want us to commit to today. I commit to making decisions that will prosper me. And when I say prosper, I want you to really get this, because if you get this, you're going to be in a place of power. I make a decision. I'm making a commitment to make decisions that will prosper me. Prosper you, meaning that you're in such alignment, in agreement with what your soul guidance is giving you, what your God self is giving you, that everything works for you every day, all day. And so I speak and I release a word of decree and declaration. And I break the power right now. I'm going to just break up some things in the spirit realm that have you operating at a lesser level. Somebody may call it you're in a slump. You're in a rut. You're in a low-level cycle. We come to break that up today. We come to break that up. All you have to do right here in this moment is just take a breath, breathe, and make a commitment. I'm going to make decisions that will prosper me. One at a time. I cannot stress enough. One at a time. So in other words, if many of us that came out of the holidays, I'm guilty of this. I knew I should have skipped Thanksgiving, right? But if you make one decision today to be committed to, today I'm going to make a decision that I'm going to eliminate one thing that I've been consuming that I know has me off course, that is weakening me and not strengthening me. Just one thing, right? Let's say, for instance, you've been on a certain type of binge, eating certain types of food that you know is weakening you. Just make a commitment to eliminate one of those. Just one, just for today. I remember years ago when me and my daughter, Kizzy, we were going to Weight Watchers, and they give you a lot of tips and tools to work with, right? And I remember the instructors telling us this day that, like, when you go in the store, sometime, and you can equate this to anything, when you go into a store, and if you can identify with this, y'all talk back to me, and you're on autopilot, meaning you are unconsciously reaching for things, putting it into your cart that you're not really giving conscious attention to, and doing it in your best interest is just what you're used to, so you just throw it in the cart. And I remember her saying to us, just say to yourself, not today. I could do that another day. That has helped me so many times, especially when I got stuck binging on something, rather it was potato chips, rather it was back in the day when I was eating sweets, right? And I would go into the store, and everything in your cycle, everything in, I'm not even going to get too graphic today, but in the gut realm that has a brain, wants you to reach for it. I would just simply say, not today. And then tell you, I can do that another day. Because what I've learned, and this is good for anything, the further you can get away from something, the more you weaken its power in your life. So every day that you just say, not today, I can do that another day, and just keep moving. That's it. No fighting, no wrestling, nothing. Just not today. Y'all talk back to me. I can do that another day. So when you start activating divine alignment, you want to start using your privilege of agency, your prerogative, your right to choose, your right to say yes or no, and be good with yes or no. And then I want to challenge you to do one more thing this week. I want to challenge you to do one thing that's different outside of your daily routine. And then repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, right? When I say do something different, if just shifting energy, if you're used to driving a certain way to get to a destination that you go to often, choose another route. Why? Because every time you do something different, you shift energy. Every time you shift energy, different things come to play. So what do I want to liken this to? Let's look at maybe a Rubik's Cube. That's the first thing that comes to mind, that every time you twist and turn, there's a different alignment of those cubes and those colors, right? So I want you to think of that as energy to move you forward. That every time you twist, you're moving something, you're shifting something. Now, this is real. Science has already seen this, mapped this out. This is how powerful you are, right? That when they said, if you throw a pebble into a pond and you see that ripple effect, that the circular ripple effect that goes out when you throw that pebble or that rock into a pond, they say that that is felt all around the world. That little action of throwing the rock into the pond creates a ripple effect that is felt vibrationally all over the world. Doesn't that seem like that's not real? But I want you to start thinking in terms like that, beloved. I want you to start thinking like that everything you do makes a difference. Everything you do makes a difference. What does that mean? Everything I do makes a difference. It's moving something. It's shifting something. Even when you go to make up your bed, right? Take those pillows, shake them out, right? That's the purpose of doing that. You're shifting and moving energy, right? Anything you do is creating a ripple effect. And I want you to do something different this week. With the conscious awareness, I'm shifting energy. And back to the analogy of the Rubik's Cube, after you manipulate that so much and change it and turn it and twist it, colors begin to come into alignment and agreement. And so virtually, if you notice, people who have spent the time to master the sequence of how to do that knows how to do that very quickly. They know how to do it very quickly. And then they have all, that's what happens when we start creating miracles. When you start shifting energy, you get better and better and better at it. So if you feel like you're in a rut, like you're operating with low-level energy, shift just one thing and get yourself in position. So I invite you, beloved, I invite you. 2025 is right here on our heels. I want you to go to the website, ilonasanders.com/2025 SSL is scrolling on the screen. I want you to come into the spiritual success community with us. Give me 12 months. Give yourself the gift of 12 months. Give yourself the gift of investing in yourself. And trust me, we're going to make some strides. There's going to be 2 tracks there. One is foundation. And that's if you have a Christian background, but you're waking up and you know that so much of that doesn't work for you and you're ready to become your best self, ready to be empowered, that's for you. If you've been on this spiritual success journey for a while and you are ready to come into mastery, that's advanced teaching in the mystery school, then you would choose that. And again, the mastery is not for you if you're stuck in religious tradition, stuck in doctrine and dogma, have a closed mind, are fundamentalist, and you do not think critically for yourself, and you don't believe in yourself yet, that's not for you. You go to foundation, all right? And so we're so thankful and we're so grateful that you are here. And I want us to take a good deep breath in and exhale. I haven't asked you if you desire to sow seeds. You can always do that. And you know how to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and just throw this up for a moment. And you can see how to do that. That's all the different ways that you could sow, the different ways that you can sow a seed. I'm so thankful and grateful that we're here. And we're still working with 8s and 9s. Any variation of 888, 8188, however you want to do it, we're working with 8s and 9s, right? All right, lovelies, I'm going to release you with many blessings for the rest of your day and your week. We will not be in SSL tomorrow. And so have a blessed, wonderful, and amazing rest of your day. And let's get into divine alignment. All right? Bye-bye.